Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Rangers Review morning briefing for Tuesday, the 11th of March. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined this morning by Stevie Clifford. How's it going, Stevie?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Fine, thanks. Hope everyone is well. This Tuesday, I want to say Tuesday morning. So, shift, get that to you, Derek. See, when you're doing shifts, you never know what day of the week it is.
Oh, I know.
So, but looking forward to Thursday. It's all about Thursday, isn't it? So, counting down the days.
Yeah, it sure is. Before we get stuck right in, just a quick word from our sponsor. Of course, the Rangers Review now brought to you by S1 Jobs. If it's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Glasgow, Edinburgh and the surrounding area, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs, so start your search today. Right, just a bit of admin as well, folks. Remember, if you want to get your comments into myself and to Stevie, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. As you all know, it's totally free to do so. But yeah, make sure you subscribe if you want to get your comments into us. Right, where shall we start? We'll start with a bit of news from yesterday, Stevie, with regards to the off-field situation at Rangers. The club have issued 26.7 million new shares. Company's House paperwork has confirmed the deal worth 20 pence paid per share, totaling £5.34 million. Now, the reason for the new shares, which were issued in February, not yet clear, but a bit of news that it was coming in yesterday. All sort of ties in with this takeover bumbling away in the background, you would imagine.
I would think so, Derek. If we're allowed to speculate, I would put a guess on it being loans getting converted into shares, so that those shares can then be sold by current shareholders to the 49ers group. So I think that would be the most logical explanation, in my opinion. So we obviously don't know for definite, and it is speculation, to be fair. I don't think Rangers will say too much on these kind of things either. They never normally would before, but in the middle of a takeover, they're unlikely to say either. So yeah, I would look. If I was a betting man, that's where I would put my money, being simple loan conversion into shares, so that those shares will be sold when the takeover goes through.
Yeah. You're probably bang on there, but like you say, Steve, it is speculation. Just on the issue of the 49ers enterprises, this caught my eye from Kevin. His message in. He says, it was on the 49ers looking at merch. There are tops priced at almost £330. No wonder they have money. God. People complaining, including me, about the price of football jerseys these days. But yeah, £330. You'll not be charging that for a Rangers jersey. That's for sure.
That's loose change for us, isn't it? Here at Rangers, the money that Johnny gives us. So that's easy. We could easily get 4 or 5 of them a month, Derek. Easy peasy.
I love a bit of sarcasm in the morning. There we go. Right, other news, of course, slightly off-field, you could say, but concerning an on-pitch matter, the forgotten man, if you like, you'll say Cifuentes. He's on loan in Greece at RS Thessaloniki, and reports coming over suggest that they're wanting Rangers to accept a lower offer to land the Ecuadorian on a permanent deal. There was that loan with initially agreed with the option to buy for a reported fee of £3 million, but it looks like they're looking to haggle with Rangers and get them in for a bit of a cut price deal. Of course, Rangers signed them for just over £1 million. I think it was about 1.2 million from Los Angeles FC, and only made a handful of appearances, you could say. I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't many. Didn't settle in Glasgow. I think he had personal issues, didn't like the climate, and was heading out the door. I think he went to South America, Cruzeiro, didn't he, in Brazil for a little spell, and now is in Greece. I very much doubt we'll see him in a Rangers jersey again, Stevie. I just want the club not to lose out on what they paid for him?
Yeah, I'd quite happily recoup what we paid, that's for sure. But look, we need to be a wee bit careful because you don't want Cifuentes coming back, Ben Davies coming back, Ravi Matondo coming back, Kieran Dowell, and you're still stuck with that trench of players that just aren't good enough. So we shouldn't mark it down too much, but I don't see why we couldn't meet somewhere in the middle. £2 million, shake your hand, everyone happy, off you go. We don't want to make them aware that we are, not wanting them back under any circumstances, because let's be honest, he's of a kind of era that is really gone now for him at the football club. So he's not going to make it here. He's not going to come back. It would be highly unlikely. That's for sure. I suppose you can never say never, but it'd be highly unlikely. And I just like to see us try and get deals for these boys, Derek, because we $2 million for him, a couple of million for Davies and Dowell down at Birmingham. Could you get that? You could get in £5-6 million potentially for a couple of these guys. So it might be fanciful, but I don't see why we should be trying to give them away like last year anyway. So if they've had good loan spells, and by all accounts, I read that report on the Rangers Review, and it said that he had been out the team and then he's come back and he's playing really well. So, and they want to keep him. Well, if you want to keep him, you can pay for him. It's that simple.
Yep, totally agree. I don't want Rangers selling players off in a job lot card book style fashion again. Colin Williams gets in touch just on the two other players you mentioned there. Stevie says $2 million for Davis, Chuck Dowell in for a bag of cans. Also, did quite well for Birmingham at the moment, the pair of them. And they will be getting back into the Championship next season. Whether Birmingham will look to keep them, they'll be going into the Championship with an eye on getting promotion. They want back-to-back promotions back into the Premier League. Whether they regard those two players as capable of getting them up remains to be seen. Of the two, I think Davis would be the most likely over Dowell, but I think Dowell will be able to get a club down south, no problem at all. He's got a decent pedigree down here, so I don't think Rangers would find it difficult to move him on. But I spoke to Chris yesterday, Stevie, just on the issue of Rangers having to sell players before they can go and buy and fund what will probably be another rebuild in the summer. That sort of changes with new ownership, doesn't it? There's not a necessity now to go and offload players.
Yeah, well, I still think there's a necessity to offload players. It's maybe not like last year where it needs to be one in, one out, when you're at that kind of juncture where, we're kind of hands tied a wee bit. But I would still like to see us have a strong hand in negotiation. Dowell and Davies have done well at Birmingham. Ben Davies, as you said, in particular. So we shouldn't be looking to give these guys away. They've plenty of money as well. So, and I'm not talking about asking for $6 million, but surely you can give us $1 million and $1.5 million for Davies and Dowell, and and keep them. We shouldn't be too difficult to deal with. You've got to remember that the pair of them, that's £50,000 a week wages for us. So it's important that we balance that and get rid of these guys as well. And there is, unfortunately, it's going to be another summer rebuild, isn't it? It's going to be another complete, you're looking at 12 out, 12 in kind of numbers, no problem at all. Yep. So, but I wouldn't be giving these guys away, that's for sure. The more we can get in, Derek, the more we can spend. So, if we're getting rid of quite a few, and you would look at maybe the likes of Red Van and stuff, I've consistently spoke about, the ones that maybe aren't available enough for the club and got a monetary value going out the door, then, there's going to be interest in the likes of Cyril Dessers and stuff like that. So it's about doing what we think is best for the football club. It's funny about Dessers as well, and we'll probably talk about it. The better he does, in Europe, the better for us it probably is. So, I hope that on Thursday night these boys can produce again, and then it kind of opens that up a wee bit more. But no, there's not a necessity as such, Derek, but I still think, we've definitely got to go and sell players in the summer, that's for sure. I would be looking, there's at least, a dozen names in there that could easily leave this football club, and you wouldn't bat an eyelid too much, and you would keep a 6 to 8 kind of numbers wise, and then, you would look to bring in proper quality, because these boys aren't going to be able to get padded up by 3 or 4 more, Derek. I think it needs quite a bit of a change, unfortunately. said it last year, said it year before, said it needs to be last time we do this, but it needs proper foresight, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the game on Thursday then. You've got a great piece on the website this morning, Stevie. Do go and check it out, folks, if you are a subscriber to the website, where you discuss last Thursday's momentous result over in Turkey. I don't think anyone expected that. And I mean, it was 3-1 flattered Fenerbahce, you could say, as well. What did you make of the events in Istanbul, Stevie? And how do you see Rangers shaping up in a couple of days' time?
Well, on the article was written for post-match, as Joshua asked, get it to me as soon as I can and I'll get it out to you as soon as the game finishes. And it's now Tuesday. So, yeah, Derek, it's, you play by the boss's rules, don't you? So, yeah, that's a kind of immediate aftermath of the game, how I saw it, how I think Barry done well with tactics and stuff like that. How did I find it? I was surprised. I've got to be honest. I was surprised in a way, just how good they were. And in other ways, not surprised, because this is exactly what this team are capable of. They are tailor-made to set up exactly that. The defender's been back, made an obvious huge difference. And things just fell into place. I thought it was a bit of a masterstroke to give Tierney a free role like he did. Spoke about that a wee bit this morning in the article. So, yeah, I think that was key. It's going to be interesting on Thursday. It's not over. I don't buy into that in the slightest, that it is over. I think it's, in many ways, it mirrors Dortmund, where they'll have to come and have a right good goal. Fred, I think, is back for them as well. He's a huge player, so it's going to be interesting. And you chuck in the Jose factor and the Jose factor, then, everything and anything can happen. So it's going to be a huge night. It should be a really fascinating night, that's for sure, Derek. Looking forward to it. But Thursday was a brilliant moment, that's for sure, for the club, for Barry's kind of short spell as manager, a wee bit back for the players, and more importantly for the fans who've endured, quite a bit, and surrounded by that kind of horrible news we had last week about Christopher Potter, who went over there and we lost him, and surrounding everything that the kind of Rangers support went through last week. So it was a nice moment for that, and let's hope we can go ahead and finish the job on Thursday.
Yep, multiple man. Just when you mentioned Dortmund there, Stevie said against Dortmund, we scored first at Ibrox, still became squeaky bum time. Take nothing for granted. Yet it called on a Giovanni van Bronckhorst substitution at half time. If you remember, Leon Balogun coming on, it showed things up because. By God, I was happy to hear that half-time whistle. Dortmund were battering Rangers. So, he made that sub, and Rangers were a different team in that second half and got the all-important draw. Really should have won that game that night. But hearing from the players and the manager, Stevie, you get the feeling that they won't be getting carried away by this. And I guess it's up to the fans as well not to. I imagine they won't be as well pitching up to Ibrox and expecting that the tie is done. It's not done, especially given 3 previous results at Ibrox, which have been nothing short of disastrous. It has to be one of those old-fashioned European nights under the lights, hasn't it, where the crowd are the 12th man?
Yeah, it's a complete reset for Thursday, isn't it? You just start from scratch and you see where you go. So need everybody behind us, that's for sure. If we do go or it doesn't start well, we need to just stick with it. So they need to score 3 times. So
yeah,
we do have a wee bit of leeway in that. We also have enough where we can hurt teams. They won't sit in. They'll have to come and chase it. They'll have to come and be on the front foot. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think that they're lucky they're still in the tie.
Yes.
We should have and probably could have killed that off last week. I thought we were great, actually, last week going forward and things like that. So they'll come at us. There'll be plenty of space. I would imagine that they'll look to do similar things with Tierney and stuff like that as well. So it's going to be a really interesting one. But there's I'm with you. It's going to be fever pitch. Ibrox should be rocking. That's for sure Thursday night. And I'm really looking forward to it. That's for sure.
There's a question coming in here from Andrew. He says, we need to stick with the same formation. Do you do that, Stevie? Just stick with what got you a result in Istanbul? I'll get on personnel as well, any changes you'd make. But in terms of formation, it was a bit of a surprise, shall we say, to see how Rangers lined up over there in Turkey. Do you keep with that formation?
Well, it's an interesting one because the formation doesn't have that surprise factor anymore, does it?
No.
Whether he stays with it, I think he probably will, because I think we're quite suited to that. We actually spoke about this last week, Derek, if you remember, and I suggested, would you go back to 3 at the back? Would you play a flat midfield 3? You know, we kind of discussed what he might do, and I said he needed to do something. So he did it. He did it superbly well and got it bang on, Barry Ferguson, and you know, the whole management team. So I wouldn't be looking to change it overall. I would think I would stick, and you know, Josie will come and play on the front foot. So I would stick with it. I would probably stick with mostly the same team as well, and then look to see where that takes us. So I wouldn't be too quick. You lose that element of surprise, yes, because they know what's coming and they know what we're going to do. But you know, they knew what we were going to do last week as well, after the apparent, you know, shock of the first 30 minutes and stuff like that, and they still couldn't stop us. So I think that we've got enough in our tank to hurt them. I think it'll be a goal-scoring game, that's for sure. So I wouldn't be too quick to change it information-wise. I think I would probably go with that, and I'd probably go with the exact same the following game on Sunday as well. So
Parkhead, yeah. Just treat it like a European match. Personnel then, what changes are you making? I can't imagine Robin Propper will be coming in, and given Leon Balogun's performance, I'd be starting him. The only other change I would be looking to make, Stevie, is Dujon Sterling at the right-hand side of the back line, and perhaps Ridvan for Jefty. Any other changes, or do you disagree with that?
I thought Ridvan did okay up until the point where Maxi came on, former Newcastle player, and he began to really trouble him. By then he was kind of 60 minutes in, so Sterling did well. I think it would depend a wee bit. For me, Balogun has to come in and start. I think he won 100% of his headed clearances last week. So they're going to be looking for Dzeko, so we need Balogun in there. And Robin Propper didn't know what day of the week it was when he came off last week, so I don't expect to see him again either. But I don't know. I mean, it's 6-1 for me. Dujon Sterling, when fit, should be playing, you know, and playing the way he should be in that Rangers team. But the problem is we haven't seen him fit for a long time. Got to be careful with him coming back from that, you know, breaking his shin and stuff like that. So I would be inclined maybe just Balogun to come in. I really liked Baron, Raskin, Diamande, and it's funny because do you remember the conversation we had about somebody had mentioned dropping Diamande, and I said I wouldn't do it because I feel that in a 3, that's where you get the best performances out of him on that kind of left side. And considering the amount of nonsense I've spoke here for 3 years, Derek, it was nice that he did have a good performance on that left side, and what I thought he was capable of in a 3, he did actually perform. And I thought Diamande was incredibly good last week, and I think that he suits a 3 like that. So Diamande, Baron, Raskin, I thought worked really, really well. Baron was like the unsung hero in the middle. So
yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah, subtly, very, very good, very, very good. So no, maybe just Balogun, I think. And then you go with Cherny and Dessers up front and hope that they can reproduce. And I mean, look, can we talk about Dessers? Are we allowed to talk about Dessers?
Of course we can talk about Dessers. He's the main man right now.
It's funny because I said that he was a guy that was kind of in form when everybody wasn't, and it turned out that he had a superb night. He had the kind of night where And it's funny, it sums him up. His finishes were instinctive. He needed them to be, or his finish, his first one was instinctive, and he done it perfectly. An absolutely brilliant finish, but he was involved in everything. His goals that were chopped off were so unlucky. I'm still not convinced in that first goal. I really am not. The second one, yes, but the first one, I think's. But that aside, I thought he done everything bang on, and I thought to myself, look, having given him so much critique over the year, over this season, then it's probably worth giving him as much credit as possible, because, you know, concentrate a lot on what he doesn't do, but what he does do, he's consistently available, he's consistently in amongst it, and he's produced in a big game. So, you know, all credit to him. If he goes and does it again on Thursday night, then great, because, you know, teams will start watching him. It doesn't change my overall opinion that with him coming up for 31 this year, if you were getting serious money for him and things, we should think about, you know, that. But there's not many in the Rangers squad, Derek, that I would turn down money for anyway. So that's not just a Cyril Dessers thing. But, you know, the big man was absolutely great. He was a really close performer. I thought there was 2 or 3 that were exceptional for man of the match, but he was certainly in there. I thought, again, John Souttar coming back from injury the way he did, I thought he was terrific as well. And it kind of suits him. We've spoke about him being a siege mentality defender before, haven't we? And that's what I thought he was the other night. And hopefully in the coming weeks, John Souttar will sign his contract and settle down a wee bit. That would be the dream outcome, because you want him to be one of the pillars that you can work around for any kind of squad rebuild. I think I would still get somebody in to challenge him on that right side of the defence, that's for sure. But I think that John Souttar, when you get him performing like that, is a really valuable player for Rangers. So many blocks, that header just before half time, for example, when the shot came in and stuff, I thought he was great. And then Balogun, it allows Balogun to go and actually, you know, meet the crosses and meet the headers, because he knows that if he doesn't get them, he's behind them. So, no, I thought that there was a lot of really good. Nico Raskin in midfield again, I thought was terrific. Czerny stole the show for me in that free roll. I thought he was great. So there was a lot of things that went right, Derek, that's for sure. But the big guy up front, he was not bad. He was not bad. Barry certainly likes him. So, you know, we hope that on Thursday night he does it again.
Yeah, he was sensational. I mean, singled out for praise by Jose Mourinho as well. Yeah, he done the damage on Thursday. That's very unlucky not to take home the match ball on Thursday as well. He certainly deserved it. Thomas McCrimmon also a guy that was singled out for praise. High praise indeed. He says the Turkish media were calling Diamandi Zidane. Yeah, they were certainly going overboard, but make no mistake about it, Diamandi was outstanding the other night as well. Him and Raskin in that midfield were exceptional, and Rangers are going to be at the top of their game again on Thursday. Yep.
I was just going to say, Derek, I spoke to you about this last week with Diamandi. Diamandis are not a bad player.
No,
right? It's become evident, and this isn't just a revision thing where, you know, Stevie's saying it. You remember we talked about this months ago where I said I didn't feel like Raskin and Diamandi were right together, and I still don't feel like in a 2 they work. I don't feel like they're suited for our game. Put them in a 3, in a flat 3, I think it's completely different, especially in Europe. I think it suits Diamandi a lot better. I think he's able to you know, be more confident on the ball. You've seen him dribbling about and taking it in tight spaces because he knows that he's got 1 or 2 behind him. I'm not sure that in Scotland that he's so comfortable doing that with players not there. So I think Diamandi's a cracking player. We just need to find a way to unlock his potential the way we did last Thursday on a more consistent basis, especially in Scotland. So Zidane, not so much at this moment in time, but he certainly had a cracking game, that's for sure.
Yeah, did he do a pirouette or something? Was it in that game on Thursday? I'm sure he'd done something to get away from a few Fenerbahce players. That was just, I mean, it was fantastic. It really was. So
he also expertly took down the ball and released Jeffy for his through ball to Cyril just offside. So Diamandi was involved in so much of it, and I think that, you know, as I said, I think that finding a proper role for him consistently in that team and unlocking that side of him consistently is is key to Rangers performing, because when he does perform, we are most often a very good side. But I just don't think Raskin Diamande is a two works. So how can we get both of them to thrive a wee bit better? Because Raskin stepped as well. This isn't just a Diamande thing. Raskin stepped a wee bit as well, and he came right up the other night with Barron in beside him also. So it might not be as free flowing as we want it to be attacking wise, but sometimes you just got to play the hand you're dealt, Derek, a wee bit, and Barron certainly helped both of them. So I would be inclined to keep it that way.
Yeah, well, Raskin, certainly there's shouts over in Belgium from some to get him in the senior setup in the national team, especially if he's performing like he was on a Thursday night. I'm not sure when the Belgian squad, if it has been announced or when it will be announced, but yeah, that would be a fantastic achievement for him. He's never been given a cap for Belgium, but I don't think he would be out of place in that midfield. And there's a comment coming in on Instagram. Of course, we're live on there as well. Perfect Athletes Club. Just talking about Rangers the other night. He says the work is Issame Charai. This is his style of play. So it sort of ties in with a video we recorded the other day with two Moroccan podcasters who had Issame Charai on their podcast for a lengthy show, where he went through his tactical insights, how he likes to play, formations, what have you. Of course, he took the Moroccan under-23 side to African Cup of Nations glory a couple of seasons ago. And interestingly, that the two Moroccan lads said they watched the game the other night and it just screamed of the Moroccan side, how they lined up and how they got success in that tournament. So I do wonder how much of an influence Issame is having in that Rangers coaching department at this moment in time. But I can see why he's been kept on when the other coaches departed, Stevie. But bit of a strange one at the time, bringing him in. I think there was a lot of question marks given that Rangers, in that period of an external review, that they were bringing someone in. But this looks like a longer-term appointment by the looks of things, and not just for assisting Clement.
Look, I would love that to be true, because it was funny when, obviously when Barry, Neil, Billy and Alan McGregor arrived, he was kind of like that, the weird kind of brother-in-law that you have to take along to the stag do and all that, don't you, just because you're marrying his sister. So it was a little bit awkward with regard to him being there. You didn't know how it was all going to turn out. But I would love to think that he had such a big impression on the boys and working with them and being able to work with Barry and stuff like that. And if Barry's taking that on, then I think it speaks volumes of Barry as well, and it shows him up in a good light, that he's willing to listen to his coaching staff. He's willing to listen to ideas, and regardless if they're his or not, go with what he thinks is presented by his management team as the best for the team that works, and it did. So, if it is, down to him and it's his idea and his kind of brainchild of the way he worked it, Barry's taking that on for the best of Rangers, then great. Because ultimately, I don't really care who is the one behind it. As long as they're all working together and doing the best for the team and the results are there, then that's all I care about. Does it bother me if Billy Dodds picks a team that wins on Thursday and Sunday? I absolutely don't care, as long as Rangers are winning games. But I like the fact it would be a kind of nice thing for me if they were all pulling in the right direction and working together, and it was his, because him being the kind of outsider in that group, because Barry's brought his own ones in, and then if they've taken him in and fully immersed him in that group that they now have, then I think that's great. And as I said, it speaks really well for Barry as well, if he's willing to do that. Yeah,
he seems like a very intelligent guy, someone that very meticulous in his planning and scouting on position and setting teams up. And by all accounts as well, he's someone that wants to be a head coach somewhere. Whether that's at Rangers, who knows? But yeah, I think he's very much a vital member of that coaching team at this moment in time. So yeah, go and check that video out, folks. You can go and watch it, pardon me, over on the YouTube channel at this moment in time. Tomorrow's press conference day, just a heads up, we'll hear from Rangers, both taking place at Ibrox. We'll hear from Barry Ferguson just before 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Jose Mourinho scheduled to speak at around 5:30. They're normally late, these things, so it will be around about then. Looking forward to meeting Jose, Stevie.
I heard he's looking forward to meeting me, Derek. So No, I won't be there tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow, sadly, because I would have liked to have taken that in. And then on Thursday night, I'm not sure I'll do the manager press conference. I'll probably do the players. If the result's good and it goes away, I'll probably do the player walkthrough. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. I would have liked to have seen Josie, that's for sure. But ideally, probably Wednesday would have been the best time to speak to him and kind of gauge his thoughts, and just be in his presence would have been great. I doubt that I can skive off work for a couple hours and get across, so we'll need to just wait and see. But looking forward to seeing him. Absolutely, I'm looking forward to him bringing one of his teams. I think it'll be fireworks. As I said, I don't think this is over, so it'll be exciting to see how that goes and what he brings to it. But yeah, I'd just love to be in a position where we see this through Thursday night. It goes really well, and then we can figure the rest out. It doesn't really matter if I'm in a press or outside with the players or whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. He's been to Ibrox before, hasn't he? When he was Chelsea manager, Rangers, was it the famous pre-season game when Sebo scored, didn't he? Was it 2-0?
Nacho Novo scored the first on 70, and Sebo scored in the final 10 with a big looping effort.
Yes.
So, it was a brilliant day, actually. Went to the pub after it, Derek.
Yep.
It was back in the days where I used to enjoy a wee scoop or two. Went to the Bon Accord by the motorway on North Street, and had 1, 2, maybe 6. So it's like us in Naples, actually. So
and its super lager was getting devoured. That's for sure over there. But,
the good old days. I think that see if we do get through and we're off to Rome, then I think you and I are due another trip.
Yes.
In all honesty, just saying.
Long overdue. Yep, absolutely. Let's hope the Tinkerman can negotiate past Bilbao then, and Rangers can do the business on Thursday. And get us out to Rome, Rangers Review HQ, please. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Right, that'll do us there. Big thank you to Stevie as ever, and thank you to you all for tuning into the show. It's very much appreciated. If we don't speak to you later on, then enjoy your Tuesday. And we'll have a chat with you again tomorrow morning. Bye for now.